Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of The Charming Empire along Kagemitsu Togawa's route. And this will be our last episode with him, I believe, because we cannot read the endings or we risk having our channels disabled due to copyright strikes from the companies, because they did leave public notices asking people not to do so, and they said that they consider that a copyright infringement. So I shall honor their wishes, because a lot of these companies do actually give the copyright strike sooner or later. They may not do it right away, but they do it eventually, and I don't want to just be going along here and like 6 months later just suddenly lose everything on my channel. Alright, so anyway, sorry. Let's get to seeing the last bit of action we can get with Kagemitsu here. You can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story. Kagemitsu and Soshi glare at each other in silence. Not knowing what to do, I just look back and forth between them. I don't think Kagemitsu will really put Soshi in danger, but the sparkling sword in Kagemitsu's hand is pointed straight at Soshi. He moves his mouth before he moves the sword.
This is my last word of advice to you.
Kagemitsu's quiet voice echoes through the room.
Open your eyes, Soshi. There's still time.
How is there still time when the revolution is going on? But Soshi stays silent. The silence continues until Kagemitsu starts to tremble. It looks like he's crying.
Soshi, why won't you say anything?
Kagemitsu stabs the ground with his sword. Why won't you say anything, Soshi? I can't stand to see Kagemitsu like this, so I jump in. Do you even know how Kagemitsu feels? Kagemitsu probably didn't want this revolution. It must be so hard for him to point a sword at Soshi, his childhood friend. Soshi has to know how he feels. Or don't you?
I don't know how he feels, but I know what he's thinking.
When Soshi finally replies, it sounds like a riddle. What does that mean?
After your marriage, he was planning to take over the palace with the rebels. Am I wrong?
A pained look crossed Kagemitsu's face as Soshi guessed his plan.
I told you I know how your mind works.
Then why didn't you say anything? If Soshi knew what Kagemitsu was planning, he should have confronted him about it. Soshi looks at me and replies to my question with another question.
What good would it do if I talked to him?
But will Kagemitsu never get his feelings across? Soshi has always been my Kagemitsu's side. If Soshi knows how Kagemitsu thinks, it doesn't make sense that he doesn't know how he feels.
I don't have time to fight someone who's not my enemy.
Not his enemy? Kagemitsu planned the revolution and he's still not Soshi's enemy? If Kagemitsu isn't an enemy, then who is? How much does Soshi know and what is he thinking? What's
that supposed to mean?
Kagemitsu completes my sentence before I can finish.
How am I not your enemy? I don't think you're taking the situation seriously. Not taking it seriously. Either way, it's like I said. I'm sure the mastermind behind this revolution would understand. This country is rotting. The minister and his staff only have their own interest in mind to enrich themselves at public expense. I know that. The ministry has changed before our eyes.
Kagemitsu looks up into space, as if remembering the ministry's faces.
Not only that, but there have been some who have been targeting my life and my sister's.
Huh? Someone's targeting our lives? But why? I suddenly speak up in surprise. I didn't think I was in danger too. Kagemitsu looks just as surprised as I am.
What do you mean someone's targeting your life, Soshi? It's just what it sounds like. I'm a target. End of story. But don't act like it's not a big deal.
Kagemitsu angrily walks up to Soshi, who just silently stares at his friend.
How could you keep something like that a secret from me? Did you forget our promise?
Promise? It seems like Kagemitsu and Soshi exchanged some sort of promise. Kagemitsu presses harder when Soshi stays silent.
Did you really forget? Did our promise mean nothing to you? Of course I remember our promise. That's why I entrusted you with my sister.
Soshi quietly snaps back. Me? Whatever promise they made, it looks like I'm involved somehow. Ask about the promise. I have to know the truth. That's why I came here. I decide to ask about the promise. What promise? Kagemitsu drops his gaze. Please tell me. I came here to learn the truth, and I'm prepared for anything.
You don't remember? You, Soshi, and I made a promise when we were kids.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I've been forgetting, apparently. A promise? When I search my memories, I start to vaguely remember something, but it's so foggy that I can't remember the details. I can almost remember it. I feel like I'm forgetting something important. I frantically search my memories again.
I'm not surprised that you don't remember. You had a fever back then, and I carried you home on my back.
I don't remember getting a fever.
Your fever started the day before, but you wanted to go to the festival so much that Kagemitsu took you anyhow.
Oh. Then, was that the same day you told me about when we watched the town festival?
Yeah, it was the same day.
Kagemitsu nods with a smile.
When Soshi found out you were missing, he ran after us.
Oh, yeah. I remember now? When Kagemitsu helped me sneak away to see the festival, Soshi came running to get us. Soshi got mad at me for not taking care of myself, but Kagemitsu calmed him down. When I told him I wanted all three of us to go to the festival, Soshi promised that we'd go together next year. I was so happy that I made them both promise that the three of us would be together forever. We all made a pinky promise. Our promise that day made me so happy. Let's be together forever.
Well, that's the promise we made that day.
Well, the promise was broken a long time ago. A brief look of happiness crosses Kagemitsu's face before it clouds over again.
But you left with your mom after that, and we couldn't keep our promise.
I didn't understand anything back then. That's right. I used to cry and ask Grandma why I couldn't see you anymore. I used to cry every day in that strange countryside house, wishing I could see Soshi and Kagemitsu again. But when my tears dried up and I got used to life alone, I must have sealed all my memories away. I forgot about all of the fun and sad times. Now it's finally coming back to me again. But what does our promise have to do with anything?
Well, we will protect you no matter what. That's the promise Kagemitsu and I made for the three of us when you left the palace. You remembered. Of course I did. That's why my only option was to choose this course of action.
Soshi smiles. It's the same smile that I remember from our childhood. Soshi. I run into my brother's arms. Soshi catches me as I bury my face in his chest. I'm sorry, Soshi. I thought...
That's all right. My goal was to protect you. I'm sorry for treating you so badly to do so.
I shake my head over and over again. I'm ashamed for not understanding how Soshi felt. That's okay. I didn't know anything. I'm sorry. Both Kagemitsu and Soshi have been protecting me this whole time. But what if they ended up marrying me off to some guy that was going to be like an abusive husband and I'd be stuck in that relationship for the rest of my life? And then there was a revolution in that country and they decided to kill the royal family. Shipping me out isn't necessarily protecting me. A tear runs down my cheek. Soshi smooths his hand over my hair like he always used to. Oh, wait, okay, we can read episode 15. Sorry, that's not the ending yet. One more chapter to go.
All this time, I was the one who wasn't paying attention to Soshi.
Kagemitsu whispers in frustration as he watches Soshi and me hug. Kagemitsu. He stands sadly in place.
Even though I was always by her side.
Kagemitsu's voice is full of regret.
I'm a failure as her right-hand man. I'm the blind one here.
He sounds like he's taking on all the blame. That's not... I stop myself from trying to cheer Kagemitsu up. I don't know how he feels, so it's not my place to say anything. The people targeting Soshi's life are really to blame. They're the ones who pushed Kagemitsu to go this far. If the ministry were moral people, they wouldn't have targeted my brother and Kagemitsu wouldn't have started a revolution. It's not his fault.
What are you talking about? You're not the one to blame.
Soshi puts my thoughts into words. Soshi.
I'm thankful for everything you've done. I was able to come this far because of you. Soshi. I deceived you as much as you deceived me. There's no need to apologize. But my life may have been threatened, but that's no excuse for deceiving a friend. You still think of me as a friend? Of course I do. Will you join me again?
Soshi quietly holds out his hand. Kagemitsu looks at it in surprise. He slowly reaches out his own before quickly pulling back. Kagemitsu?
You might have forgiven me, but that doesn't change the fact that I tried bringing you down, I don't deserve to take your hand.
But you do deserve it. You're a good person. Things were just miscommunicated and misunderstood. You do deserve it. I suddenly raised my voice at Kagemitsu. You treasure this country's people. I want Kagemitsu to understand how important he is. I know how hard Kagemitsu worked for the people without sleep. The same goes for the revolution. You even planned this revolution for the people's sake. I don't think he should blame himself for his actions if it was for the country.
But I acted all on my own.
Then from now on, you and Soshi should talk things through together. I don't want Kagemitsu and Soshi to part ways here.
I need you. Don't make me say it. You should already know.
Soshi pauses before he starts again.
We made a promise. Do you think I'll let you break it over a small thing like this? Huh. Oh, I forgot you were like that.
Kagemitsu smiles wryly, and I see the tension in his face fade away.
I was wrong. From now on, I promise to do my best as your right-hand man.
So what, are we just going to go out to the rebels and say, hey, sorry guys, we talked it out, everything's cool, revolution's over, so she's going to be cool from now on. Just chill out, everybody. Peace. Kagemitsu.
I also promised Soshi to protect you.
Kagemitsu smiles at me. Please let me help you too. I don't know what I can do, but I want to help Kagemitsu somehow. I don't know how much help I'll be, but I want to try. Is that asking too much?
Of course not. I'm happy that you're thinking of me.
Kagemitsu. Kagemitsu turns to Soshi.
Soshi, can you give me another chance to fulfill the promise the three of us made? Of course.
Soshi firmly grasped Kagemitsu's hand. Ah, peace. Soshi looks so hot in this picture, darn it. Now if we can just get everybody else to chill out there.
Thanks.
Kagemitsu grasps Soshi's hand right back.
It looks like we can finally make our festival promise come true. If we all live.
The future looks bright. I don't know what will happen, and it won't be easy, but at least we're together again. I feel like everything is going to work out. What's wrong, Soshi? The explosions sound louder than before, like they're getting closer, and you're going to start smelling smoke soon. Maybe we're not safe here. I slowly open the door to check what's happening outside.
And...
Eek!
Watch out.
A bomb goes off unexpectedly close and sends a part of the palace crumbling down. Kagemitsu quickly pulls me away from the door and shields me with his body. Tiny pieces of stone come tumbling down on us.
Be careful, the ceiling's crumbling.
I'm sorry, Kagemitsu, it's Soshi. Soshi is on the other side of the room, where the ceiling has started to crumble.
Are you okay, princess? You'll be fine as long as you're with Lord Kagemitsu, but there's a fire blocking this hallway.
The fire is spreading through the palace. Please escape as soon as you can. With that, the servants run to the next room to let others know about the fire.
Did you hear that, Soshi? We need to get out of here. Can you make it to this side, Soshi?
Soshi just stays where he is and shakes his head. Soshi, what's wrong? We need to get out.
Oh, wait, it's dangerous to move around.
Kagemitsu stops me from going over to where Soshi is. Before I can ask Soshi what he's waiting for, another part of the ceiling comes crumbling down.
What are you doing, Soshi? Come over here. You can't move. Oh, wait there, I'll come and get you.
Soshi just silently backs away toward the window as bombs continue exploding around us.
Soshi, what's going on? These bombs weren't part of the plan. It's not the rebels that are setting them off. This is all part of my plan.
Darn it, Soshi! So this one's following along Soshi's route. We don't want you to commit suicide, Soshi. Come with us, please. Your plan? What's that supposed to mean?
This country is too rotten to be fixed. We must destroy all of its misgovernment.
What is he talking about? It looks like Kagemitsu understands.
Soshi, don't tell me. Did you promote the greedy minister in the former minister's place, all for this moment? I took advantage of your plan, too.
I still don't understand what's going on, as Kagemitsu and Soshi continue to talk.
Damn, why didn't I realize it sooner? Why?
Kagemitsu squeezes his fist in frustration. I hesitate to ask. What's going on?
Well, there's one condition for the revolution to be a success.
A condition?
The people we're fighting against are absolutely evil. This way, everyone comes together under a united cause.
That means everyone has a good and bad side. The ability to take action and find purpose are necessary ingredients for change. Since people hesitate to fight one another, it's important to unite them with the idea that their enemy is absolutely evil. Which I hate. I hate it when people demonize other people, but that's how war friggin' works, and so it pisses me off so bad. Wait, then Soshi is... From an outside perspective, Soshi promoted a bad minister and didn't help the people recover from the fire. Did you do all of this on purpose? The strange behavior Kagemitsu told me about must have been all part of Soshi's plan.
That's right.
Soshi nods. Why did you do that? Why didn't you tell Kagemitsu? Before doing something like that, he should have told someone. If he told Kagemitsu, his closest advisor, things wouldn't have to be this way. You guys probably could have found a much better way.
In order to rebuild this rotting country from scratch, there must be sacrifices.
Soshi's voice is calm.
Who said you had to be that sacrifice?
Soshi ignores Kagemitsu and continues.
You listen to the people and work for them, while I turn a deaf ear. My disappearance will boost the people's morale, help them make this country a better place.
Well, yeah, disappear. You don't have to die. You can just disappear. Come with us. Soshi didn't do anything during the fire to help Kagemitsu look like the good guy? I didn't realize how carefully Soshi had planned this. That shows how much he cares about this country.
Why did you do such stupid things? Was I not reliable enough for you? On the contrary, I can't think of any better hands for me to leave everything. And this country in. You don't mean...
I look at him in disbelief as the ceiling starts to crumble more. It could fall at any minute. I can still hear running and shouting in the hallway. We're obviously running out of time. At this rate, Soshi will...
What about our promise? What about your sister? Again, I can't think of better hands for her to be in. I know I can entrust my dear sister to you.
Soshi! His dear sister. That's the first time he said that since I came to the palace. I thought I was just his pawn. Tears come to my eyes as I finally realize how Soshi really feels.
Kagemitsu, take care of her. Yeah, I promise I'll protect her no matter what.
After some hesitation, Kagemitsu looks straight at Soshi with a determined nod. Soshi sends him back a satisfied smile. Suddenly, the ceiling cracks and falls straight down on Soshi. Soshi! The rubble tumbles loudly, and Soshi disappears from sight. No. Why did he sacrifice himself like that? That's just wrong. We finally understood each other and could be together like we used to be. Soshi! The noise of the falling rubble is louder than my hoarse voice. My legs feel weak, and Kagemitsu catches me from behind before I fall. I helplessly gaze at the rubble, with my mind in a disoriented mess. They didn't even let us wait till the endings to see what happened to Soshi in this one. So yeah, I can imagine how the endings are going to go for this, as with the other ones. A lot of times these are fairly predictable. Especially the good ending. Yeah, with this particular series, you don't really know what you're going to get with the normal ending. It can be good, it can be bad. But yeah, again, I can't give you guys the endings, I'm so sorry. But that was Dogenzaka's declaration, so that we may avoid copyright strikes. We must not air endings. I may actually be done with this game for now, because all that's left is Kei Yoshimine, and Rob has him up on his channel, the romantic one. And at the moment, I'm having a really hard time keeping up with videos, so let me all know if you really want me to read Kei's route on here too. And I may come back to it once I finish reading Period Cube. But right now, I just really can't keep up this rate. I was like, I really had to finish Kagemitsu's route at least, and then I can cut things down a little bit. But yeah, with Gakuen Club, I gotta cut that out too, but I want to finish Renji's route at least. But Saku's route hasn't been particularly popular, so I don't know if I'm gonna finish his route or not. Or maybe just come back to him after other stuff is finished off too. But thank you all for watching this series, whether I continue with Kei or not. I really didn't expect Kagemitsu's route to be quite so action-packed and interesting. since he was the childhood friend, I almost always find those routes pretty boring, you know? Kagemitsu was a thinking man, he had plans, and he had power and stuff. He was a stand-up guy, he was cool. So I enjoyed it. Well, anyway, I would love to see you in some of my other videos. And I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye-bye, everybody.